Alright, my name is Christopher from Incredible Seeds, and today we're going to do a video on seed scarification and stratification to get these seeds ready for winter. So we've got Kentucky coffee, shagbark hickory, and Manchurian apricot. And with these three types of trees, we will be able to cover all of the different needs that they have. So for scarification, which is what the Kentucky coffee tree needs, we are going to use a little bit of sandpaper to scuff up the seed coat on the seed itself. And the reason that we do that is because after the seed dries, it hardens and it doesn't allow water to penetrate so easily, so it has a hard time getting started. So we can help that out by just taking the seeds and rubbing them on sandpaper like this. You can just flip them over a couple times so you can get some of the different edges. You can see that it's a little bit broken up there. You don't need to do too much, just a little bit to get it started. And we'll do that with all of them. Or I guess you can do that with all of them. I'll do 4. So call those guys ready, and we'll find our container here. You can just use anything that you have laying in your home that you've collected over the years. So we'll put those in there, and the next step with the Kentucky coffee tree is we're going to soak them in water for 24 hours. So let's turn it out with some water. And so we'll let those sit for 24 hours, and that completes the instructions for the Kentucky coffee tree, and those will be ready to plant outside or in pots after that 24 hours is done. Okay, stratification is the process that the seed goes through so that it knows that winter has passed and spring has come and it's time to wake up and grow. So next one we have is the shagbark hickory. So this is a seed that just needs to have cold stratification only, and a water soak at the very beginning. So 4 days of water soaking. We'll get these guys in this container. We'll put those in there, and again, just pour the water in. And those would soak for 24 hours, and then you'll want to change the water every day for those first 4 days. And some seeds are going to require water soaks and some are not. Some will have hot water, and some will have just room temperature water, and the instructions will enlighten you to which one you need. And so we'll pretend now that these have been soaking for 4 days. And so we'll pour off the water. We'll just turn around here. Those can stay there. And we are going to coat them in damp peat moss. Now you can use peat moss, or you can use various other things. I would assume you could probably just use your garden soil outside as well. The key is that you want it to be damp but not wet. So when you squeeze it, you should be able to feel the water in your hand, but you shouldn't see anything really drip out. So this is pretty perfect. And so we'll just put some heat in there. And mix it around, lid on. Shake. Okay, and so you can see they're just lightly coated in some damp peat moss, and that's really all that we need to do for moist, cold stratification. And you can just leave them in this container and put them in the fridge, and we'll want to check the package for how long we need to do that for. It's very important that we actually leave them in for the full amount of time, otherwise they may not wake up. So the shagbark hickory, it says 120 days of cold, moist stratification. So those guys will go into the fridge, and 4 months later, we can take them out. And they'll be ready to plant outside or in pots or whatever you have in mind for them. So that is that one. And the last one that we're going to do is the Manchurian apricot. And this is a seed that requires warm stratification followed by cold stratification. So the process is pretty much the same. It's just a matter of where we put the seeds when we're done. And this time we're going to use an old bag that we have. It's an old cookie bag. Feel free to use whatever you have. Try to use something you already have, so you don't have to make new waste or buy anything. So we'll just put a handful of peat in there. Give it a shake. And these are also ready to go. So just tie those off. And we'll put those in a warm place in the house. Somewhere like 15 degrees Celsius to 25 or so would be fine. And this is the first stage, so it's basically simulating the end of summer when these fruits would fall off the ground and spend their time rotting on the ground with the fruit around them. And once the 60 days is done for the apricots, you'll want to put them in the fridge and follow the 60 days up with, I think it's 120 days in the fridge. And once you've done that, then they will as well be ready to plant out in the spring. And that's all. Thank you. So I just want to make a note or a quick comment about mold that you might see appearing. It's important to keep an eye out for it. So if during your warm stratification you have 2 months on the warm shelf, it's very possible that you're going to get some mold showing up. So you need to keep an eye out for that. And if you do see it, what you can do is just wash it off. If it's not too bad, if it's getting blue or green or any of these other colors, then you might want to do like a 10% bleach solution and soak that for 5 minutes or so before washing it off again. And you'll just want to add new substrate with that process and then continue on. And you'll want to do the same thing for if you notice that happening in the fridge. And yeah, that should take care of everything. If you follow all these steps, you should have all kinds of tree seedlings sprouting up in the spring, and that's exciting for everyone. All right, thank you for watching, and enjoy. Bye.